Welcome to our third step on our Decan Walk to Aquarian artists from opposite sides of the world, walking through the 10-day slices of the zodiac year and creating tarot cards as we go, because each of those 10-day slices is a decan and is associated with one of the minor arcana cards. This step and this decan, the third decan of Aries, is related to the Four of Wands. And so that's the card that we've been concentrating on. The ruling planet for all of Aries is always going to be Mars. Each 10-day slice has a sub-ruler, and the sub-ruler for this third decan of Aries is Venus, the goddess of love. And this third decan of Aries is the Sagittarian Aries. So the people born in this last third of Aries have a very Sagittarian flavor to their Aries nature. The way that we walk is that we first look at the artwork that we've created. So we have very different styles of art, which you will see. Ant does beautiful graphite work, and I create colourful LightSong mandalas that are based on the astrology chart. And the astrology chart I use is the very first point of entry into the decan. So for this decan, it's going to be 20 degrees Aries when the sun hit 20 degrees Aries. That's the chart that I'm using. So we look at our art, then we look at how we experience or experienced, because we're about a decan behind the sun, so that we've actually got the decan under our belt so we can speak and reflect on our experience of the decan that we've done the art for. And then we choose a song and we share that song and talk about how we feel that relates to the decan and to the card. So that's the structure. We look at the art, we talk about how we experience the decan, and then we talk about the song we've chosen and why we chose it. Hi, Ant. How are you?
Leanne, I'm good. Thank you very much. How are you?
Good. So we're going to kick off with your piece of art. And by the way, everybody, Ant and I work completely independently. So I only just saw his work of art, and I'm learning at the same time as you from Ant what is behind his work of art for this card. So I'm going to share screen and share his work of art so he can talk. He can talk about what's behind it. And I'm super, super curious. Here we go.
I don't think there's going to be another card that comes along our path that will have so much energy, emotion, knowledge towards this card. It's different to the last two, to say the least. It's coming from a geometric point of view. So with the traditional tarot, we have this card of union, joy, passion, encouragement of people that celebrate your joy and your love and your unionship. I come from a different aspect, and I bring in all that I know to the card and all that I receive to translate to the card. So with this card, I wanted to portray union not only in a couple, let's say, between two individuals, but union within self, more so than union with a couple. And to truly become at one with yourself and come into union with your own soul and your own being, you have to first understand the energies of the feminine and the masculine. And you have to understand that every single human being on this planet has literally both energies of feminine and masculine within. Now, here's the problem with society, with the world, and how we approach and see our own energies. Again, it's information that's been hidden from us for various reasons, which I don't wish to go into right now. But within us all, we have feminine and masculine energy. And once you understand this and you start to approach yourself with that notion, and you work on yourself productively with your feminine energy and your masculine energy, and once you've kind of found balance and harmony, you come into a state of union with yourself. What this does, it transcends the energy from the distorted masculine and feminine into the divine masculine and feminine. It's no easy feat. It really isn't an easy feat. It's to get to this stage, to be in union with yourself. You predominantly going through hell within your own. You have to break down so many illusions, so many false belief systems, not only about the world you live in, but about yourself. And it's very hard. You have to really get in sync with your ego and understand your ego. It really teaches you unconditional love, and the concept that the idea we have of unconditional love in our world is not the true concept of what unconditional love it truly is. And it's like anything, we can know things, but we can't truly understand things that we haven't gone through and haven't experienced. It's only at that point where you can use what you've learned in your everyday life, in your everyday thought processes, in shifting your perception, consciousness, etc. And I think I'm going way off now, so I'm going to pull it back. When it comes to the divine feminine, divine masculine in my life, I have two very interesting characters that I connect with, and they are Archangel Metatron and Archangel Sandalphon. Archangel Metatron is the embodiment of the divine masculine, and Archangel Sandalphon is the embodiment of the divine feminine. And I use these in various ways in my life. I use them when I'm healing. I'm an energy healer, and I use them. They come in. I call them in to assist in certain situations when I'm healing, using vortexes and light, etc. But I wanted that to portray both of those archetypes in this drawing. So what we have is the concept of the golden ratio, let's say, the Metatron's cube, the Fibonacci sequence, bringing everything in and understanding sacred geometry and its connection to the Earth's planet and ourselves within. But I didn't want to, what we have here in front of us, if we take away the layers of the circles and the planet in the middle, we have a icosahedron, which is a 20-sided platonic solid. So there's 5 platonic solids, and this is the 5th, and it has the most sides to it. It has 20 sides, which connects within the numerology connection within this drawing also. This element resembles water knowledge. It's coming from a viewpoint of the combination of the divine feminine energy and the divine masculine energy in its whole conscious form. And it's as though the outer wheels, the outer circles, they actually represent Sandalphon. So it's as though the knowledge of the water is encompassing the knowledge and the soul of the representation of Sandalphon, and together they're uniting and coming into union. It's the whole energy of union that this represents. The four wands, I didn't want to render them at all in this drawing. They were left blank with a swipe of kind of mist running through them, kind of a strike. I didn't want them completely white. I didn't want them rendered also, but I just wanted something that attached the ones to the actual energy of the drawing. Now, the reason the ones are placed the way they are, one at the top, one at the bottom, resembling as above, so below, but also the way they're running in circular formation, chasing each other's tail, if you like, is connecting and combining. One word, it's holding the form of the energy of this card, and it's as though it's a vortex of energy. It's the creation of the vortex of energy. I just want to go slightly off and say that if anybody out there is aware of them being in a twin flame dynamic, this card is very powerful in the sense of speaking to you and really trying to show you that maybe you're looking in the wrong direction. Because I say this because, and I never speak about this publicly because it's so private to me, and I like it to remain that way. But I'm on a twin flame journey, and I've been aware of this for 14 years, 13 years. And in the beginnings, I didn't understand a thing. I was all over the place. It's gathering knowledge, cosmic knowledge, and just this intense, overwhelming feeling. And we get so lost because there's so much false information out there of suggesting what we have to do that it's so mind-boggling. So I never even think about those days anymore because they were quite disturbing, to be fair. The lack of knowledge out there, it can cause so much destruction in somebody's life if it's misunderstood, misinterpreted, and somebody is following the direction of somebody that doesn't necessarily know what they're talking about. But the answer to everything on that twin flame journey, I just want to put out there, is if you're a divine feminine who predominantly is in search of healing and everything, and in the pain dynamic of waiting for the masculine and all the crap that comes with that dynamic, stop. Literally stop. Take a breath and focus on yourself. Listen to what no one has to say to you. You know what you need to do. You just have to remember. By taking advice of other people, which is obviously the first thing you're going to do when you become aware of such a situation you're in. But as long as you find that balance within yourself of the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and bring them into your own reality, your own being, in your own soul, only then, literally only then, there is no ifs and buts, and there is no exception. Only then will you have the counterpart energy matching your energy. It's as simple as that. You have to do it for yourself. And this bleeds into the rest of relationships in the world. Soulmate relationships, karmic relationships. Even if you're in a karmic relationship, you follow the principles of balancing both the energies within yourself. And all you can do is attract the counterpart energetically that matches you. We're in these situations because we don't understand energy. We don't understand the energy, our own energies, the energies of the opposite sex, etc., etc. And it can get very distorted. And that's why this card is so special to me. I absolutely loved drawing this because it took me back to my journey of where I am so far, and the whole energy of this card just sits with me and just makes me feel at peace, makes me feel at balance. And it reminds me of when I came into union with myself. Just one more thing, that the Sandalphon, so the discs that represent Sandalphon, they're actually parts of that make up the flower of life, which is the flower of this earth, which is a beautiful grid, a beautiful energetic grid, which is unfortunately being misused right now, and they're placing 5G towers in formations of the flower of life to distort the energy on this planet, which is again something I'm not going to go into, but it's if we can really tap into the energies of the flower of life and all sacred geometry, we can consciously defeat this distorted version that they're trying to portray on the planet in many forms. But anyway, yeah, so this is what that card represents, Leanne, and that's what that card means to me.
I loved all of that, and I'm here. I've written some notes down, which I will come back to. I'll reference later in the conversation. And I don't know if you could feel it, but I was here smiling away as you were talking.
So yeah,
I'm like, oh my God, okay. Because all of the other pieces are now clicking into place of where I had gaps with my process for this card. So this is so interesting. My question on the card as I'm looking at it is that Venus in the middle? Okay, I just wanted to check.
with Venus, I was looking at. She's very circular in that drawing.
To be fair, most of the planets aren't that circular anyway.
Happy days, good.
The Earth is not circular.
But all the images I was searching for Venus, and they've all got kind of different images. No two are alike, and I'm thinking, what the bloody hell's going on? I know, no one's up there taking photographs and things, but it's just perception, isn't it? So to me, it was like, look, I'm not copying a planet that digital things done, and I don't know what. So again, I just took the pencil. I said, just let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move on to my artwork and the deep synchronicities between the two forms of art. That this will be a surprise to Ant. As I intimated earlier, it's a fresh surprise to me once I received this piece of art. So I create light songs from, like I said, from the astrology chart. And these are the planetary colours on the left and the zodiacal colours on the right. And these always come from the chart. And this is, I mean, Ant's probably picked up that these are a lot more busy than previous ones. And there's a reason for that, which I'm going to go into by sharing the chart. But first I'm going to go back to Ant's artwork and the pattern of Venus, because I've used Venus as the focal point to find out what pattern she was involved in when the sun hit 20 degrees of Aries. So are you ready, Ant?
Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh.
I had already finished this before you sent me your artwork. And as you know, as soon as you sent it to me, I said, ha 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 ha. You're not going to believe the syncs on this one.
I knew something was coming. I wasn't expecting this. Wow. Wow.
This is what is known as a Grand Sextile. You can't get a pattern that is any more Venus than this, because the sextile is the Venus aspect in astrology. And the sextile is the 60 degrees aspect. Just talking you through this, we have the Star of David, the hexagram, the six-pointed star, however you wish to refer to it. Also, it is Solomon's seal. The four triangles for the four elements are represented by Solomon's seal. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to kind of separately put it in here, but if you look at the six-pointed star within this, you will get the four different elemental symbols out of that one six-pointed star. For example, the element of air is represented by an upward pointing triangle with a line through. I'll go back to the pattern. We've got a six-pointed star. We have minor trines. So this is a minor trine where I've got Venus to Mars to Uranus. That's a minor trine. Mars to Angel to Arrakis. That's a minor trine. We also have kites. When you add in the bigger trine, the grand trine with the minor trine on top of it, that makes a kite. So this is a kite from Venus pointing to Angel and Tyche. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. You've got a kite pointing at Moira, and you've got a kite pointing at Uranus. Well, you've got a kite pointing everywhere, right? When you look at this, you've got all these different kites. Then you also have what's known as a mystic rectangle. So here is the rectangle. This is known as a mystic rectangle. And there's three of them. The blue aspects are known as flowing, harmonious, or soft aspects in astrology. And while they are harmonious, if you don't have any red aspects, they're pretty horizontal, is the word I'm going to use, right? So if you have someone that has a lot of flowing energy in their chart and hardly any hard aspects to kind of kick the harmony into gear, you know, they're going to have a very easy, but might I say boring life, because it's just flowing and there's no dynamics or dynamism going on. So the beauty of this pattern is that you have all of this harmony that has this dynamic 6 points of, I'm just going to call it lines of dynamic energy, the red lines. For me, when I am tuning in and meditating, I will always center myself with the 4 cardinal directions and above and below. This for me really encapsulates that. Imagine you're like a human being standing in the center of this. These are your 4 cardinal points, and you're above and you're below, all in one. And then you've got all the flowing energy around it. This is one of the most harmonious patterns that you can get. So in the nature of Venus. Coming back to Venus being the focal point. And Venus at the moment is with Saturn. And Saturn gets a bad rap. But Saturn is basically, when we think of vision and reality, Saturn is the reality part of that equation. Bringing vision into reality, you need the structure of Saturn to bring your visions into reality. So Venus being with Saturn to me is a great thing, because it's like, it's the reality of bringing in the beauty dynamic, the love dynamic, you know, all the things that Venus represents. Value, self-value, as Ant was talking about, self-love. And then Ant, I was here laughing away when you talk about masculine, feminine, because the thing that stood out to me is who's over here? Mars. So you've got both Venus and Mars in this pattern, the masculine and the feminine, and I noticed that immediately when I was putting this together. The other thing I noticed is that you've got the two rulers of Aquarius, Saturn and Uranus. The traditional ruler, Saturn, and the modern ruler, Uranus, or the co-ruler, as I like to think of him. So you've got the teacher and the awakener. You've got the goddess of love and the warrior. Mars has just moved into Leo, but at this point he was still in Cancer. And in Cancer, he is really the protector, you know, the protector of home and hearth. Then we have up here the asteroids. Because Venus is at 2451, and these two, where she's sitting is kind of like in the middle of these two asteroids. So I've got them straddling this point here of the hexagon, Grand Sextile, okay? Then we have Moira, another asteroid, and at the head here is Arrakis of the Draco constellation. Unfortunately, I haven't had time to really delve into the Pegasus and the Draco influences, so what I may do afterwards is add something in here just to speak to those 2 points. But for the rest of them, I've listed here Venus, goddess of love, Saturn, the teacher, Uranus, the awakener, Mars, the warrior. Moira is the asteroid of fate, destiny, and the cycles of life. So that's really interesting that Ant was talking about twin flames and karmic connections because she's one of the fates. She is an asteroid that represents one of the 4 fates. Then we have Tyche, which is luck, good fortune, and abundance. And then Angel. And Angel is guardianship, protection, and guidance. I also want to point out the actual name of the Pegasus star. So this star in the Pegasus constellation is one of the 4 stars that is part of, that's called the, now I forgot, is it the Grand Square or the Great Square of the Pegasus constellation? And it's one of the main stars. And I wanted to point out the name of the star, Markab. So the 6-pointed star is what's known as a Merkaba. Mer being light, Ka being spirit, and Ba being body. So if you shift the A to the end and you add an E in there after the M, you get Merkaba. And Merkaba is, well, my interpretation of a Merkaba is it's our light vehicle. It's our light body. And it takes this form of the Grand Sextile, because it's a very, like I say, harmonious and solid and secure structure by virtue of the red underpinnings that it has there. Is there anything you want to add, Anne?
I'm still in shock. Honestly, I've seen and I witness synchronicities on a daily basis. I'm shocked. I have no words. It's literally, it's not even that they look similar or, yeah, I can see that fitting with that. It's literally, you can lay it over what I drew and there we go. It's just unbelievable, especially with the connection with Venus and Mars and the the masculine and the feminine. Like I said earlier, Leanne, or in the last video, that I was going to not really come from my thoughts, even though in effect they are my thoughts. But this was very much channeled, and I was led, as I loved doing last week and loved doing this week, and will do so from here on in, definitely.
Yeah.
This is bloody mind-blowing. I'm speechless. I can waffle on and go on tangents about most things, but wow. How what's the word I'm looking for now? This really solidifies what we're doing as something that is not just led by you and I, but divinely led, divinely influenced, astrologically influenced, obviously, because that's the process we're going through. But to see the synchronicities from all elements coming in, yeah, it's just mind-blowing. Absolutely. It's made me feel amazing. It really has made me feel amazing. I can't believe it. But yeah, no, lovely. And, even with the Grand Sextile, water and earth.
Thank you for pointing that out, because, yes, it's the feminine elements as well. Yeah.
And the fact that I drew an icosahedron, which is the symbol for water.
Exactly.
Is just madness. Madness.
I don't know whether I'll include this, but when I looked at it, I go, fuck me.
Yeah, include it. It deserves it. It's like, what the fuck? Absolutely blown away, Leanne.
It's like, as they say in the UK, the cosmos is having a laugh.
It's just joining the journey. It's just like, you two don't even know yet, do you?
Yeah.
We're starting to. I think we're getting the gist of what's going on here.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And the reason I wrote notes is because my song choice, which we'll get to, is connected to what you were talking about. And as I shared with you before we even started, I don't even know why I chose the song, but now I do, after your soliloquy at the beginning.
I won't quite go that far to call it a soliloquy. Yeah. But yeah, thank you.
Okay, so let's move on to the rest of the magic, shall we? Here is the light songs before I do the above and below. So this is just the Grand Sextile in the planetary colours and the zodiacal colours. And then I did, and look at the name I gave this ant, and what were you talking about?
Yeah.
So this is the love harmony of this light song for this card. I mean, it's just so beautiful.
So packed with energy.
Yeah. And then here is the combined efforts, the light songs and your work.
I've just seen another synchronicity there.
Oh, yeah?
If you look up right through the middle section of the either light song of yours, right?
Yeah.
And to your left and right, you have like a triangular arrowhead looking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, here. Yeah.
Yeah, they are almost exact to what's in my image. Where you stop that.
Oh my gosh. Yes. You mean these black bits here?
Yep.
You are correct.
How interesting. Love it.
Okay, so those people watching, When Ant and I first met, and this will only mean something to astrologers, when we first met, obviously because I'm into astrology, I looked at our charts, the synastry, for us to work together. And when I looked at the synastry for me and Ant, we have an almost exact to the minute trine of our vertex points. So what that means is, for those not conversant with astrology, the vertex is a point of fate. And we have one of the most harmonious aspects with both of our points of fate. So yes, I knew this collaboration was going to be pretty wild, but this is like going beyond what I even imagined. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to quickly touch on just the typical card meanings. So here we have the title for the Four of Wands is Lord of Perfected Work, according to the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And this is the essence of the influence according to the Waite-Smith tarot deck, which is the most commonly used tarot. Then, as I did last time and as I've done so far, I also share a few points from the tarot deck that I use, which is the Druid Craft tarot deck, and the 3 points from there. And just to point out that what I do here is I colour up the part of the zodiac wheel that we're in. So this is the 3rd Decan of Aries that I've coloured up here. The 3 points from the Druid Craft, I haven't just included the good parts of it, but also what might be perceived as the challenges of this card as well, because every card has benefits and challenges. So the challenges for this card, where your dynamism or energy potentially being frustrated by home-related matters. And is there anything that, during that period of time, from the 11th of 10th, well, it crosses over because the actual Decan did start on the 10th of April and the last Decan ended on the 10th of April as well. So from 10th of April to 19th, 20th, did you notice any of those themes in your own life?
Oh, yeah. I did. So me and my partner, we live in 2 separate countries. I live in Ireland at the moment. She lives in England. We haven't seen each other since Christmas until 4 days ago. So yeah, we came into physical union and just basking in our love for one another and enjoying each other's company and time. And yeah, it won't be too long before we're physically together here on. So it was very, very distinctive within the last weekly, and yeah, absolutely. Yourself, any energy synchronicities here?
I think it would actually be this work that we, again, like last time and from the beginning, it's this project that's all coming through in this project, because well, I think we've just demonstrated perfected work. I mean, that the Grand Sextile is about as perfect as you can get for, like I say, a pattern. So even though it's out of the time frame, you know what? when I think back, because I was actually doing our last card during this time period, and that I think you'll, recall that I was being kind of perfectionist about putting that video together, and I'm not 100% happy with it. So it's almost like, yeah, there were, I guess, elements, the challenging part of the card where, the actual setup that I have, I didn't feel was as good as it could have been. So the home, because I'm in the home recording this, so I guess mine was a bit of a more literal, you know, the home environment affecting the perfected work. Yeah, yeah. So now we're going to go on to the song, and I know that you haven't chosen a song, and I just wanted to hear your reflections on that before I go into the song that I chose. And then it's almost like I chose a song for both of us. But before I go into that, I want to hear about you and your not having a song.
So while I draw the cards, while I'm putting an image down, I'm focusing on the energy and I'm thinking of songs that may reflect what I'm portraying on the card. If none come to my mind that I'm aware of and I know the music of, I'll kind of do a bit of digging and researching into artists I haven't heard, or songs that I'm not aware of, and kind of see if they fit into what energy I'm trying to portray in the card. There isn't one. There isn't. I mean, I could have gave you a name of any number of love songs and coming back together and all this business. Blah, 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 blah. The fluffy, in my opinion, don't shoot me for this, the fluffy three-dimensional illusional idea of love, which I'm not really down for. It would have taken away the authenticity of the card if I'd have done that, and I wasn't prepared to do it. So they're literally, unless I had the time to write my own song, Leanne, I have no song to bring forth from my kind of thing. But I didn't want to come and have nothing. So it took me to, when I was 18, I wrote a poem. I'm not a poet. By any means, I'm not a poet. I understand that this was channeled even then. I'll never forget the time, because I was thinking, what's this? I don't do poetry. Even though I love words, I'm not very articulate, and I mumble with my things. So I always left that kind of thing alone. But it never had any meaning at the time. And it was only fast forward 20, 25 years that and I'm thinking, that's why I wrote it. But why then? And it's only coming into my peripheral kind of ideas now. But it goes a little something like this. The day is through, the end is near. Come, my child, don't shed a tear. For what I'm about to tell you now, open up your mind and allow the treasures and the raptures near. Regard your warmth and abolish fear. Here today, gone tomorrow, furnish all the things you'll borrow. You never know what gives or takes or forsakes us for our sins. Tremors flow, timidity you know. Dare you not let your feelings show? Come, my child, for I will take you on a journey to meet the Maker as you believe you know. And where that came from more many years ago, I never know. But it means so much to me now, and I understand the whole vibrational energy of it. And while I was thinking of a song, I was thinking of this poem, and I was thinking, that's the nearest thing I can offer in the way of translation from me, if you know what I mean, because it's very similar in that we truly don't know who we are, and just by little guidance and little to become who you came here to be, you have to look within. It all happens within. You have to go deep. You can't just hit the light. You have to literally go in and dig that darkness for the light to expose itself. For you to come whole, you have to go in and mess about with all that, your your shadow side, your shadow side. But yeah, I mean, no song, but a poem. I'm intrigued to listen to your song. I'm intrigued to hear.
Like I said, I think I may have chosen the song for both of us. As I said to you, I was struggling. I was struggling trying to find a song for this card. And this song that I've chosen just kept popping in. So, last time we had, my artist had their Mercury on one of the points, and then your artist had the North Node. So John Lennon's North Node and Avicii's Mercury. Well, the artist of the song I chose, so I chose the song without looking at anything, right? Because the song just came in. Like you, I'm just letting the process do its thing. So because it kept electing itself, I thought, okay, this is the song, even though I don't understand intellectually why it's the song, but you've helped me understand why, which I'll share in a minute. So even though I don't understand why it's a song, this is the song. Let me go and look at the chart like I did last time of the artist. Again, it's both Mercury and North Node. It'll be interesting as we walk through whether this is a recurring theme, because it's 2 for 2 so far. So his Mercury is with Angel and Tyche in Virgo, and then his North Node is with Moira, the Fate, right? The Fate asteroid in Capricorn. So it's a trine between his Mercury and his North Node. And as you know, North Node from last time, the North Node is the soul's direction, and Mercury, communication. And this person has also passed, another posthumous looking at their chart, and a person who the official reason for their death was suicide. However, the it's disputed by his partner at the time, Paula Yates. So Paula Yates disputes whether Michael Hutchins, the artist, committed suicide. There's, her view is that it was accidental. He didn't mean to kill himself by hanging. And there's, suggestion that, he was into some kinky stuff, which, as she said, if you knew him, then, there'd be what wouldn't he have tried? Because that's the kind of soul he was, He was a very sexual being. So yes, the song I chose is Never Tear Us Apart. And I'm going to play the segment of the song. The verses I actually pulled out, and like I said, didn't know why these, this song or these two verses. Then as you were speaking, I realized, oh, it's this whole, the twin flame, karmic connections, but not only that, if you listen to the song and the words as a song to yourself, It makes sense. Let me share and play just the bit of the song.
We could live for 1,000 years, but if I hurt you, I make wine from your tears. I told you that we could fly, 'cause we all have wings, but some of us don't know why.
I'm going to pause it there because those are the two specific verses that I pulled out of the song. But the whole song, you know, two worlds collide, love will never tear us apart. That is, to me, listening to what you said earlier, the two worlds are the masculine and the feminine within each of us. I was standing, you were there, two worlds colliding, love will never tear us apart. Mars, Venus. Here are the two verses that I selected out of the whole song. We could live for 1,000 years, but if I hurt you, I'd make wine from your tears. I told you that we could fly, 'cause we all have wings, but some of us don't know why. And then the clock on the on the right, I've put that there because that is the music video was all shot in Prague, and I've been to Prague. And this is in the town square. This is the astronomical clock. There's two parts to it. There's a part above this, and this is the part at the bottom that's in the video. And you can see I've chosen this part of it because of the lyric talking about, I told you we could fly. And, you know, it's got the angel with her wings there. And I didn't have time to look this up. And if it has some significance to this card and any other synchronicity, I will add it in again as a post, added in post. Is when the astronomical clock was renovated and resumed operations, and they've got the time and the date. So I'm very intrigued to see if there's any synchronicity with that clock, because this is from astrology, and all of the stuff we're talking about is linked to sacred geometry, astrology, and everything else. So yes, what are your thoughts on the suitability of the song? And since you weren't able to get one that made sense to you, did I manage to do a good job of, even though I didn't realize it at the time, did I manage to do a good job of choosing one for both of us?
I believe you did a great job, Leanne. Those lyrics are deep. They're very not surface level kind of love language. It's very deep love language of knowledge of love, if you like. Very twin flame-esque, very, I mean, he even speaks, we could live 1,000 years. That in itself is, to me, suggests that he understands that time is linear. It's a man-made construct, and that 1,000 years is nothing in the blip of life. It's the blip of existence, which is eternal. What I love as well is the lyric, if I hurt you, I'd make wine from your tears. And tears being how I see tears to be the release of emotional energy, the release of absolute joy and bliss. It can denote so many emotions within us, but within every tear we're releasing pain. When we cry with sadness, when somebody's hurt us, they're tears of sadness, and with them, you know, Leanne, water holds energy and consciousness, and with those tears, it's so healing that we're releasing the energy of the thing that hurt us. You know, we try and hold back our tears. No, must be brave, must be brave. Let them bloody tears go. Heal your body of the emotion. Understand the emotion. And the fact that when you can recognize that when you've hurt somebody, and the idea of making the wine from the tears is literally taking responsibility for hurting that person and correcting the energy within yourself first of why you hurt, how you hurt this person, what was behind it, what's hurting in you to hurt this person, and acknowledging that and literally owning her tears, if you like, or his own tears, however, you know, whatever angle you want to come from, is very nurturing. Those lyrics to me are extremely nurturing. It's lovely. It's lovely. And I also see with the image on the right, the synchronicity within the clocks, where you've got the similar arrowhead formation that's resembled in my card and your LightSong. The three images have a very similar kind of shape formation to them, and obviously that's due to the circular, the sacred geometry. Yeah, lovely. Well done on the song, Leanne.
I have just noticed another synchronicity in this image. This is an angel.
Mm-hmm.
His Mercury is with Angel, the asteroid, and then here is Capricorn, and here is Virgo. So the angel is even near the, you know, the trine that is in his part of the Grand Sextile. Yeah. So I've been to Prague twice, and the first time I went, I didn't have a clue that it was there. I didn't even see it, didn't even notice it. The second time I went with my other half at the time, and we were sat right opposite it, because it, you know, the actual man, you know, it's one of those clocks where the figures come out.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And we were sat in the cafe that is directly opposite it. So we were sat there for a good couple of hours, just, you know, watching the clock and people watching and stuff. Yeah. So, yes. I guess we're wrapping up this episode. We have now stepped into, the sun has moved into Taurus. So we're now in Venus's territory. She is the ruler of Taurus. The first card is the Five of Pentacles. So that's the card we will be covering next. Is there anything else you want to add, Ant, for this Four of Wands? I think it's been like this journey is turning into something quite amazing and magical.
I really, really, really can't express how much I enjoyed this card, and today, and seeing the synchronicities have blown me away.
The combined artwork we are making available as prints, standalone prints that you can buy, which there will be a link for that in the description of the video. And there will also be t-shirts coming as well, the artwork available on them, which I will include once that becomes available. Is there anything I've forgotten to mention, Ant, that you can think of?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But this card really does have a really special meaning to me. And I think that's why I loved it so much. And that's why I didn't choose a song, because I didn't want to do an injustice for what it means to me. So, but you made up for that, Leanne. So it's perfect.
I'm glad. I'm really glad. Yeah. Which is also for me to not to just trust what I'm being given, because it just fits so perfectly. As soon as you started talking, I'm like, oh, okay. All right, we will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And most of all, if you have a song for the Four of Wands, please share it with us and the reason why you've chosen that song. But for now, that's it for now. It's bye from me, bye from you, Anne.
Bye. Pleasure. Love to you all.
Till next time, from my heart's light to yours. Bye.